Welcome to Subscription Prescription, the podcast where you get the information you need to scale your subscription program. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another dose of Subscription Prescription, the podcast where we help you figure out everything related to D2C subscriptions. I'm really excited to be joined today by the co-founders of Drink Wholesome, Jack Schrupp and Tessa Schrupp. Thanks for coming on the show, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Our pleasure.
Absolutely. I would love for you to tell everybody a little bit about what is Drink Wholesome.
Yes. So Drink Wholesome is a protein powder for people with sensitive stomachs. We make protein powders and meal replacements with a short list of simple ingredients.
So I started Drink Wholesome 5 years ago because I myself couldn't find a protein supplement that didn't upset my stomach. And as Tessa mentioned, using a short list of simple ingredients, I was able to create a protein supplement that didn't cause digestive issues for me. And it just so happens that it also doesn't cause digestive issues for other people, including those with sensitive stomachs, chronic digestive diseases. It is, as far as I'm concerned, the easiest to digest protein powder on the market.
Oh, that's amazing. It's so interesting because I've met a lot of people that are like doing vegan type supplements where they're trying to find like meat alternatives. And so it was actually kind of interesting when I first looked at the ingredient list to see that, but it makes sense. You're looking for like the most basic, complete sources of protein and being able to put it in a powder. So I think I mentioned to you guys before we met, my wife has dealt with a lot of these issues. She's actually tried a bunch of different protein bars, a bunch of different like protein supplements, different shakes, and all kinds of things, trying to figure out what exactly it is that's upsetting her stomach or not. So I know this is like a really big market. There's a lot of people trying to figure this out. So I'd be really curious, like, what are some ingredients you tried that didn't make the cut or that you found like maybe were problems? Or is there anything that you put in there that you were trying at first that just isn't there now?
Interestingly, I was formulating today. I'm constantly reformulating, trying new ingredients. I'm always on the lookout for innovative products, innovative ingredients. And I've been fascinated with a cell-based protein that's made from baker's yeast or brewer's yeast. It can be grown in a tank, essentially. You could grow it on Mars. And it's a complete protein. It has a really high biological value. Again, all of the essential amino acids. So it's, from a nutritional standpoint, on par with whey protein or any other animal-based protein. But it doesn't taste very good. It tastes like yeast. And so figuring out how to take that protein source and make it palatable is really tricky. And I'm not even close. I've gotten pretty good at formulating. We make 3 types of protein powder at the moment, and a protein powder from egg whites, a protein powder from almonds, and a protein powder from bovine collagen. And I've got those recipes or formulations down. The yeast protein has just not come together yet. I wouldn't share with anyone, even my mother, because it's just not ready for the masses.
I'd be curious, is that like, because that to me sounds like something that'd be a lot easier to source, right? And be like probably better for the environment, all the considerations of being able to just, if you could grow it in a vat, or grow protein in a vat it does sound like something from a science fiction novel, right? Like, you know, they'll be in space, like growing yeast cultures to get their protein sources.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And it does have, it is arguably the most sustainable protein. The inputs are water and the yeast. It's pretty incredible. And you could grow it again anywhere in the world. We don't sell this. We might never sell it. There are a few companies out there that are experimenting with these types of products, but it's hard to source because not many people are investing in this technology yet.
Right.
I'm not quite sure what the tech looks like, but I imagine the barriers to entry are actually pretty high for this type of thing.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And it's not something you can just like add a little sugar on or a little bit of flavor packet to make it taste better. Cool. So with Drink Wholesome, how are you guys currently managing acquisition at this stage? I know that for a lot of growing brands, it's, you know, Facebook ads, Google, that type of thing, but really curious to hear where you've been finding success from a growth standpoint.
Yeah, we've tried a little bit of everything over the years. Have experimented with Meta ads, as you've mentioned, Amazon advertising, because we sell primarily direct to consumer on Amazon and our website, just for some background context. But we found that the most influential method of acquisition has been our practitioner relationships. And so these are primarily practitioners in the digestive health space. So that would be dietitians, gastroenterologists, holistic practitioners that work with clients and patients with these chronic diseases, digestive diseases we've mentioned earlier. And so basically we reach out to these practitioners, introduce them to the brand, and then share product samples with them, allowing them to test out the product, sometimes give them to clients themselves. And we make it easy when practitioners like our products for them to refer their clients to Drink Wholesome.
And I'm assuming you're using some kind of like affiliate or referral program for the practitioner to be able to do that.
Yes, we do have an affiliate program that's not exclusive to practitioners, but many practitioners are also affiliates. And then,
Oh, I was just going to say, I'd be really curious. Do you think the digestive health practitioners are more motivated by the fact that the product works or the discount part? Because I know with like the typical influencer affiliate market, it's nice to recommend a product that makes you money because you get affiliate commissions. But I'm assuming because of like the space and how closely they're working with their clients that maybe they feel a little bit more about being able to refer something that they know that works.
yeah, absolutely. And from talking with practitioners, they are bombarded with new products or existing products, just trying to get on their radar. And
Mm-hmm.
they are very selective about the products that they're recommending to their clients.
Oh, that makes sense.
Which, differs from the average influencer who might prioritize making a quick buck. A practitioner is really invested in the long-term health of their clients.
It was just so fascinating to me too, like, because I've done a lot of work with both digital and in person. And so for me, I've found that when you can blend them, actually, they make like some really interesting opportunities. So it's interesting. You're a direct to consumer brand, but you're finding a lot of success by developing relationships with people that are trying to help solve this problem. Like, what has that been like for you? Are you enjoying the relationship building part? Is that hard? Like, I mean, I think everybody's a little bit different about how they approach it. I think most people would like a system where they can click a button and the ad takes off and they get millions of dollars in sales. But sometimes building those relationships can be a little more rewarding too.
I think people are very driven by products that they're emotionally connected to. And so the practitioners that I've, had the chance to meet in person or even interface with over a phone call or a video call, those tend to be the ones that keep coming back to Drink Wholesome. They feel this stronger connection to us. And that's part of the reason why we're really prioritizing in-person events this year. Just far and away, brands can get lost in the internet ether. But when you have that more personal touch point, it just keeps people coming back time and time again.
And there's really nothing other than the quality of the product that can really differentiate you at that stage, right? Like an ad can sometimes convince people to try something that doesn't work, but a relationship like that, it really comes back to the quality of the product if they're going to keep referring it, especially with a practitioner moment. So I think that's really important for anybody listening and watching is that building relationships around really quality products is still the best way to build like a subscription business.
Yes,
it's a lot of work, as you mentioned. Creating and publishing a digital ad is relatively easy and painless compared to building relationships that take, quite frankly, years to nurture and come to fruition. And we are committed to this path because we see the value in it. It is rewarding, but it requires boots on the ground. It requires time. And that for us is our most valuable resource. We are a 2-person team for the most part.
Wow.
And so we really have to think hard about how we spend our time because there's not a lot of it.
Right. Again, I think focusing on what's going to make the biggest impact for your business. And it's always a trade-off, right? Between it'd be nice to be able to invest in some short-term growth, but the relationship building, like that's more of like a network. So you've been in the business for about 5 years. I'm assuming like you're seeing a lot of better traction more recently with the relationship stuff because of that time element, or what do you think has been the biggest, like what gave you the idea to try that, or what got you into going after that channel, or maybe even just realizing you needed to double down on that approach?
Well, to some degree, visibility begets visibility. That is when practitioners start recommending products to their clients, when they start talking about it on Instagram, when they add it to recommended product lists on their website, other practitioners discover it and see the value in it. It's this positive feedback loop. And
Mm.
so, as you noted, we have started to see the results snowball, the results of our efforts snowball to some degree. And this marketing tool really makes sense for us because it allows us to underscore the Drink Wholesome difference, which is that it won't upset your stomach, unlike basically every other protein powder out there if you have a sensitive stomach. And practitioners, they understand it. They're able to articulate and speak to that difference very eloquently and effectively. And so they're a great mouthpiece for us. And it works because we're also adding value to their business. We're giving them a product that they can confidently recommend because they know it solves a problem, and they're in the business of helping people deal with their digestive issues, live happier, healthier, more comfortable lives. And so if they can get their hands on a product like Drink Wholesome, their job is that much easier.
Right. That's a great point. Sorry,
And
Tessa, did you want to add something?
I would just add that as part of that snowballing, we've even seen an uptick in inbounds. So while we are doing cold outreach, we know something we're doing is working because now we are hearing from dietitians that are discovering us. And we have on our website a form where practitioners can reach out directly if they want to try samples and initiate that process from their end.
It makes me think a lot about the content that we make around subscriptions, because like the truth is, for a long time, like we weren't getting any inbound. It was just a way to establish like expertise that we knew what we were talking about. But now it's become a snowball effect where we'll get somebody who says like, "Hey, I've been following you on Twitter for a long time and want to chat subscription strategy and stuff like that." So I totally get that. And it's a leap of faith because there's months and months, if not years, of doing an approach that, yes, that's working for the goal, but you're also long-term trying to build up this network effect to try to benefit from that. That was really, really cool. So just switching gears just a little bit, I'd love to talk about some like retention strategies, because I know that you're doing a couple of different things that are a little bit unique for a lot of people, but I would love to hear from you guys how you're approaching like your retention strategy, how you're onboarding subscribers and trying to help enable them to become like lifelong users of the product.
As you know, we are invested in educating our customers about the benefits, especially the long-term benefits of using Drink Wholesome. And we have two ways of doing so. We send marketing emails and marketing SMS. And we use MailChimp, like many other D2C businesses, for the marketing emails. And we use a newer tool called Bluestream, which allows us to create and share SMS journeys with our customers. So our customers can opt in to SMS marketing or these SMS journeys. And those journeys are designed to help educate them as to how to use the product, when to use it, what to expect, because Drink Wholesome is a fundamentally different product. We didn't mention this, but unlike every other protein supplement, it's made with whole food protein sources, not protein concentrates and isolates, which are ultra processed foods stripped of everything but the protein. Because they're so processed, they're missing the fiber, the enzymes, the other digestive aids that help you break them down. And that, for someone with a sensitive stomach, can result in painful digestive issues. So we have a fundamentally different product in that it's made with whole foods, which is great for sensitive stomachs, but that makes it a little bit harder to mix. It has a different texture and flavor profile than what people might be used to. pair that with the fact that we don't use any additives whatsoever, and a little bit of education is required to ensure a good customer experience for someone who's never had a product like this before. It's not your Fruity Pebbles whey protein isolate. It's different in many ways, in the best ways, in my opinion, but encouraging the customer to think about it differently requires some education. So again, email and SMS marketing through MailChimp and Bluestream have been very effective for us.
Mm-hmm. And one other area that's been really critical is our approach to customer service, where we try to have a really personalized communication with customers when they have difficulty or just questions. We also have a dietitian that contracts with us, and he supplies, personalized product recommendations. So that is oftentimes for existing customers that maybe want to tweak what they're doing or expand the scope of how they're using Drink Wholesome. And so just having that credentialed person to lead them in the right direction is really helpful for keeping people on board.
Absolutely. And I'd be curious, like, how would you feel? Because a lot of brands are reluctant to send SMS messages or send a lot of emails because of how it can potentially affect churn. Like, are you feeling like the education, like going after that, being proactive is the better approach? Have you thought about not sending as much, or is that not even a question for you guys?
We're very mindful of churn. We really don't want to spam our customers because they're not only our customers, they're members of our community. They're valued members of our community. And so we put a lot of thought and time into what we send, when we send it, how we send it, so that it doesn't come off as spammy. We're actually trying to provide helpful, informative, insightful content and build relationships with these people. We have lots of things that we want to share. We're excited to share them. And we hope that these are things people want to hear that's going to add value to their customer experience, but also just their life, their wellness journey. And there, if we do lose a few customers along the way, I think that's okay, because at the end of the day, we'll be speaking to an audience that's actually interested in hearing what we have to say and engaged. Right. And that for us is what's most important. I'd say the vast majority of the content we send isn't actually commercial in nature. It's educational, or even just like friendly banter, which seems a little silly for a brand. But again, we're vested in community building and we have a lot of educating to do. So we want to make it fun and compelling for everybody. And that it requires a thoughtful touch.
Right. I was going to say it's a little more thoughtful approach.
Yeah. And so not only are we thinking about it on the front end of what's going to be really valuable for our customers, but then on the back end, it comes down to reviewing maybe different touch points on SMS and noticing, wow, there was a big drop off when we sent this message. And thus we'll want to go back and tweak that to make it more engaging or less, customers not as averse to receiving that type of communication.
I think that's the right approach. Like, my experience, especially like, so for example, if you weren't doing that, your top churn reason might be like, I don't like the taste, right? For example. Whereas if you explain to people why the taste is different and why it's different and why that's important, you're going to positively impact that churn reason and also the onboarding experience for a lot of people. And I think too, like a lot of times upfront, a lot of those messages can be really, really impactful, as opposed to say like you're sending 30 messages like in month 3, for example. It's totally different type of experience. Yeah. I'm curious, is there anything like from the Bluestream side that you found to be like a little bit unique or different in how they're like leveraging your SMS campaigns for you?
So Bluestream is a newer brand or a newer company, newer service, and they are just now starting to pivot toward working with customers in our space. So food and beverage, supplement, consumer packaged goods, subscription products. And what is unique about them, and this could just be a reflection of timing, but they are really interested in helping us achieve whatever goals we might bring to the table. So they've really helped us create segments that we are able to target. They've really helped us figure out specific triggers and timing that makes sense for these journeys. So I think the Blue Stream advantage for us is that this is a nascent product or service, and they are just finding their feet in the D2C space. And for that reason, they're able to create a very bespoke or custom solution for our brand. And that has been hugely helpful. I'm not particularly familiar with SMS marketing, but from what I understand, they do offer a unique product that is different than a lot of the other options out there. And I'll leave it at that. I can't really speak to the other Blue Stream advantages, but the big advantage for us, again, has been that flexibility and investment in helping us achieve our goals, whatever they may be.
Because you're using it a lot as part of that education process, as part of that check-in process. It's not necessarily like a sales tool in the sense of you're trying to get somebody to opt into a special. It's more like after the point of purchase, people that opt into that are able to get text messages instead of or just email messages about how the product works and what to expect and things like that. Am I reading that correctly or hearing that correctly?
Correct. And it's all about sending the right message to the right person at the right time. So theoretically, we could have thousands of journeys running concurrently, targeting hundreds of different segments, and the scope could be as narrow as we want. I mean, we could create a personalized journey for every single customer. That would be ridiculous, but maybe AI will one day, or some machine learning model will allow us to do that. That could be the future. And I kind of thought that's what Blue Stream was when we first partnered with them. They're not there yet, but I can see that in the future.
That would be really, really cool. Because I think there's just this reluctance in the space to, like, not every brand even sends upcoming billing reminders via SMS. Some do, some don't, because it's really easy if I get a text, or it's really easy to get a text, and it's really easy to click into a text to go cancel, right? So like a lot of brands don't want to do that. But I think the idea is if we're looking at how to try to educate somebody or empower somebody to become a power user of our product, that SMS is the best way to kind of cut through the noise, because they're going to get that. They're much more likely to get that and interact with that than they are with an email. So it's kind of cool to see a software player kind of leveraging into that, because a normal SMS platform, you'd have to build that out yourself. And again, I know of a few brands that are kind of like taking that approach, but it's not, again, that common. So it's kind of exciting to see you guys do it. Love to hear more about how that continues to go in the future. Kind of curious for where you guys are at in your size and how you've been growing. Are there any things that you want to share that you wish you knew 5 years ago, or a tip for running a small team that has been really, really effective for you? Because it sounds like you guys are doing a lot, even with just the two of you. So anything you want to share with the audience, both lesson I wish I knew versus you guys should go try this because it's working really well for us.
Well, Jack started Drink Wholesome before I joined 2 years ago, and he was doing it solo for 3 years. And now that it is just the two of us, I'd say keep your team as small as possible, as long as possible, just because when you work with contractors or agencies, you just have a lot more flexibility, and you can keep your costs lower, and you're more nimble, and you're not bringing anyone onto the team that you haven't thoroughly vetted and worked with to know that they're a good fit.
Yesterday, Tessa and I were talking about the value of customer service. I think customer service is one of the first things that companies outsource as they scale. And you should think twice before doing so if you're if you're building a brand, because that is the best bang for your buck when it comes to marketing. It's probably your most powerful marketing tool. And you should have your best people doing customer service, not someone who lives overseas who is referring to a handbook. It matters more for some brands than others, but we still do a significant portion, along with our in-house dietitian, a significant portion of the customer service, because it is arguably one of our best, if not our best marketing tool. And again, that speaks to Tessa's point about having a small team that knows the business intimately, is involved in every aspect of the business. That's why either of us could hop in the customer support channel and offer really quality service.
That's amazing. And I think you're totally right. And again, like I'm always, sometimes I'll meet a founder who says they still spend time doing it. They could be a $50 million brand and they'll still spend time like answering tickets and and responding to people because they want to feel connected. Like if you think about the reason you started this business is you had a problem that you're trying to solve for yourself and now you're trying to help other people solve it. So the idea that you would want to become disconnected from the people that you're helping, like, I don't know, human beings, I feel like we need to be more connected with the problems we're solving. I think it's more impactful for both the business from a revenue standpoint, but also like the quality of life, which I don't get into a ton on this podcast, everybody. I'm sorry, but I think it's still really, really important. But, well, Jack and Tessa, thank you so much for coming on the show. Been really, really helpful, really cool for anybody who's looking to get, a better protein out there for their digestive health. You should definitely go check them out. And again, this has been an episode of Subscription Prescription. So stay tuned to next week for another dose. Thank you. That's it for today. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe so that you can get notified when new episodes come out each week on Tuesdays.